Daybreak Africa is your one-stop top-notch breakfast show that brings you all the interesting stories happening in and around Africa.
Because we have all the morning essentials,
including the latest news, sports, weather, and events. And of course, the people.
Daybreak Africa on Television Nigeria.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Alright, good morning everyone. Good morning Abuja, good morning Nigeria, good morning Africa. Welcome to Daybreak Africa here on Television Nigeria. My name is Messi Joe.
And my name is Elvis Oga. I believe we all had a beautiful night rest. Good morning to everybody. Good morning, Messi Joe.
Good morning. Quick one.
Yes.
Kama, the law that was enacted and signed already by the president. Yes, and Kama is, what's the acronym, the full meaning of Kama?
Company and Allied Matters Act.
Okay. So now, lots of noise being made here and there, and then we're going to be having a guest later in the program, a lawyer.
You know when you say Kama and then the law.
Like Susan was saying, not Kama. We're talking of the law Kama, the one that makes business easier for people in the society. I mean, the law was actually, and the amendment is to aimed at encouraging sustainable businesses in the country, like the environment, making it easier for persons. And then the law has been since 1990.
Yes. You know, if you take a look at some of the focal points of the current administration, the ease of doing business is actually one area they have been looking up to seriously. And you see that we actually moved so many spots regarding the ease of doing business. You know, it happened at a time where we've actually been banking on so much oil, and then with the dwindling situation of prices of oil, and then people, the world moving away from the dependence on oil and all. So they needed to do this kind of legislation to see that we woo more foreign investors into the country so that our economy will remain strong. But you know, there are some certain inclusion in this law that is not sitting well with so many people, and it's been generating a whole lot of controversy. But like you said, we'll be having a guest who will be join us to talk about it
more extensively. I mean, because I think one part of the amendment of the law that I actually preferred and actually like is the fact that now it's not mandatory that whether you are a public or private company that you must have a secretary. That's one part that I actually like about it. But then the law is still being kicked against by religious homes,
non-governmental organizations,
and human rights and activities. So, I mean, lots of talk, but then I think when we get our lawyer and guest, he will probably...
You know, there's another, before people would think, you know, the way the whole controversy surrounding this particular bill, the way it's been making rounds and all, people would think that, okay, this law doesn't have some other important and then very advantageous side. You know, there's something that they say it's going to go a long way apart from easing the doing of business in this country. It's going to take a tough stance against corruption to an extent, because
I think they'll be able to monitor who exactly.
You know, there's something about the law that even has to do with the oil and gas sector that I saw one clause about the law that I love so much, and it was talking about there are people that have been benefiting from so many advantages or benefit accrued to the oil and gas sector without being unaccounted for. But this law will make it very mandatory for people to be accountable for whatever is accrued to them from any sector and all. So, like you said, when we have the lawyer, we peruse through this law and this act.
And dissect it for all the viewers to understand it in layman language. And then I love the part of the e-registration. Like now, if you're abroad, you don't have to be in the country to be able to register your business.
That's one aspect of the ease.
Yes, that's what we're saying, that there are some parts of this law that is making so much sense, but then there are the parts that...
I had a follow-up of a particular organization or government ministry department yesterday talking about the Standard Organization of Nigeria, where I think there's this very advertorial that has been flying on so many televisions, and they were talking about somebody, like, I met you on the road and I asked, where are you going to? You're like, okay, I'm going to the Standard Organization's office to register my brand or whatever. Like, you don't need to go there. Like, you can just do that online with your phone, and then they just come and check if your product will actually meet up with the standard and all. And I think I've seen so many very young and then young enterprises come up or to benefit from this Kama already, this Kama Act already. A friend of mine just registered his studio, and I was like, how did he pull this off? Yeah, how did he pull this off? He said he just sit in the comfort of his studio and he registered, and it's going to give them access to so many grants and loans and several other things. So this one side of the advantageous side.
That's making sense.
Like, let's just reserve for the question, because I think I heard Mr. Producer talking about why including non-profit organizations in this act.
I mean, with the name already, non-profit organizations. Well, later in the program, we're going to be having our guest, Mr. Michael Dugeri. He's a lawyer with Austin Peters and Co. in Lagos, and he's a corporate lawyer. So later in the program, we're going to be having him.
I feel the optimism in your voice. Don't forget that this is going to be via Zoom, and then we just pray, and then we're optimistic that the network can allow us do what we plan to do.
The network will permit us to do what we need to do. All right, it's time to go to the news desk to get news from Susan Archin.
Your body bang, bang, your body bang, 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 your body bang, your body bang. And I give us when you take a selfie, when you take a pose, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend the low, I'm okay when you take a selfie. When you take a photo, you the ginger the boy. Every time you bend the low.
Want to shoot a dope music video at 50% discount?
50% discount?
Yeah, 50% discount. Bougie Down to Television Nigeria with world-class equipment and a badass expert crew.
Oga, face your camera now. Shh. Continue.
Where was I? Everything extra.
Carolina, you bada.
Hurry up.
I know say you know this thing you did do, my girl, say you know. Your body is big and I know say you know.
Good morning and welcome to AM News. I am Susan Achin. Ahead of the resumption of international flights at the nation's airports, Nigeria has reported 321 more cases of coronavirus. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and CDC announced the figure in a late-night tweet on Monday. This brings the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 52,548, while the latest figure is just a case lower than the tally reported in the previous day. The NCDC noted that the additional cases were reported from 23 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. The Minister of State for Education, Emeka Nwajuba, wants students to exercise more patience as Nigeria mows the reopening of schools after months of forced closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Nwajuba, who praised the students for their patience since schools were shut down in the country, gave an assurance that the Federal Ministry of Education is working with stakeholders for the safe reopening of the education centres. Meanwhile, the Nigerian government has called on authorities in various states to appropriately declare the results of coronavirus tests conducted as quickly as possible. Mr. Boss Mustafa made the call on Monday at the briefing of the Presidential Task Force (PTF) on COVID-19 in Abuja, the nation's capital. The PTF chairman explained that the call was necessary to ensure early detection, which he said would ultimately translate to treatment and leveling of the curve of the virus in the country. He acknowledged that the nation's sample collection was low and advised authorities in the states to ramp up their testing. And on to the entertainment scene, the traditional Monday Head of House Games has been held with Ozo emerging as the winner. The BB Niger housemate was declared winner after a rigorous dice battle with the other eligible housemates. Obviously not a newcomer to the challenge, Ozo reigned supremacy over the other housemates as his closest rival was V. However, V couldn't win the challenge because of the timing of her scores. For his deputy, Ozo selected Nengi as first choice, Dorathi as second, and V as third. Winning the Head of House Games earns Ozo and his deputy immunity from this week's evictions as well as exclusive access to the HOH lounge. The new HOH and his deputy selected Neo and V as their guests for the week. And that's it on AM News. I am Susan Achin. Daybreak Africa will continue shortly. Stay with us.
My name is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter at Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed, and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business. I mean, your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Your body bang, your body bang, your body bang, your body bang, your body bang.